earlier this week, Brody Miller from The Athletic, who does a fantastic job, wrote a story, and it was a story about Joe Burrow and Jacoby Stevens getting into a little bit of a tussle during a scrimmage during the offseason. There was a practice, and it's something that we talked about a little bit last year. Now, we didn't give names because, that's just not what you do. Snitches get stitches, right? But now that the names are out and we know who was involved, and I was there and I saw it happen, I can tell you that moments like that, and if you're not a football player, and you and I talked about it before the show, like, why would they do that? That's stupid. I'm like, that can bond a team quicker than anything else. When you have like this team little fight, and it's not a big deal, but Jacoby hits Burrow. Burrow fights back, and it's like, man, I love a quarterback that's going to go in there and who knows he probably not going to win the fight, but is going after the defense, and then the offensive players see that, and the defensive guys see that the offense is trying to get to their guy, and it's just something that it's crazy, but it bonds football teams because now Jacoby Stevens has a respect for Joe Burrow. Now the whole offense is like, man, Jacoby doesn't care. He'll go out there and hit anybody. They got a respect for him, and
I would flip that and be like, if I'm Joe Burrow or if I'm Jacoby Stevens, I hate Joe Burrow because he's grabbing my face mask.
That's not our DNA. It's not our DNA. I can remember being in San Diego with Ryan Matthews. He was our first-round running back. And Sean Phillips was a Pro Bowl outside linebacker, a guy that got like 10 sacks every year. And he made it his mission to pick on Ryan Matthews. And he didn't do it because he's like, I'm going to pick on the rookie, the first-round pick. He picked on him until he fought back because he wanted to see him fight back. He wanted to see, does this rookie have a little grit to him? Does this rookie have what it takes to be a guy? And so he kept going. Finally, we told Ryan, hey, Ryan, you know what he's doing, right? Like, you've got to go fight back. Fights back. Here comes a brawl in training camp. After that, here it goes. We're good. We can move forward now. I'm not saying it's right, but damn it, that's how we do things in between the white lines. And it's one of those things, it's like, all right, I'm going to see how many buttons I can push. And I want him to get annoyed and get mad and get upset until he fights back. And then he's going to realize, you know what? I do belong here. We're on the same level.
It's like an episode of National Geographic. Like the older bear is picking on the younger bear until the younger bear fights him. And then they are respectful.
I'm just telling you what it is.
Look, it worked. Whatever it is, it worked. I just can't get myself mentally to that. I just feel like, dude, stop.
And it even goes as far if you have I'm the fullback, right? And I've got a rookie running back. Well, me and Sean are going to fight every day too, because that rookie running back needs to see that I've got his back in every situation.
Yeah, I get that.
When we're playing against the Ravens and Terrell Suggs, because he does it every time we play against the Ravens, is going to punch you in your ribs. Or, Ray's going to do something. And Ed didn't really do anything. He wasn't that type of guy. But the Steelers, the Ravens, I'm trying to think who else during that time period would have been like a defense with a little bit of anger to them. The Colts, when Bob Sanders was there, believe it or not, they were undersized, but they had some of that to them. Well, you want to know, okay, if I'm doing this to Ryan, they're going to do it too. And I've got to get him prepared for that situation. Just like me on the other side of it, I've got to protect my running back. I've got to make sure that they know it's not okay to do that, and he sees me doing that because he doesn't know any better. He's a rookie. He doesn't know that it's all kind of planned out, and it's not fake enthusiasm. It's just kind of the way that it works. And so he's got to know that when we go against Ray Lewis, that if Ray does something to him, well, here comes 22, probably going to do something stupid and break up a fight or start a fight or something, right? But you have to know that football is so much about trust and having the guy next to you's back and being that brotherhood. And I realize that sounds barbaric at times, but you know what? That's what we are.
Picking at people, jawing a little bit, a push here, there, like I get it, all that. And where's the line? Where do you go so far there that now I've lost respect for you because you went too far?
If it's a pettiness, if it's you're not doing that with a purpose, but then the other vets will police that, right? You know what I'm saying? So the other vets will see that. Like if Sean Phillips would have gone too far, Quentin Jammer, who had more years on him, would have said, hey, that's not how we're doing that. No, we're doing this for that, not for that. And so it's policed within the team. And if you don't have that, then you're not worth a damn anyways. And so it doesn't really matter. But if you have a good football team, you've got guys that are policing all that, right? That's kind of their role in this whole deal. They might not be the guy that starts the fight. They might not be the guy that needs to stand up to the guy who's trying to fight, but they're the guys who make sure that it's done the right way. It's just like unwritten rules in baseball to an extent. It's just something that happens on every field that I've ever been a part of.
I just prefer the team bonding at crawfish boils and
that's fake,
movie
though.
night.
But that's fake. That's hey, we're gonna go watch a movie together. Well, we'd go watch a movie on the weekends anyways, or we'd go to Raoul's down the street and have a burger anyways. That's
juicy.
That's forced. That's the coach is trying to keep us from going out. That's what we always thought. Trying to have a crawfish boil. That's not, hey, team bonding. You can't do, because there's nothing that happens in a crawfish boil that's going to happen in between the white lines. You know what I'm saying? And so it has to happen organically within the white lines to be able to gain said respect.
Whatever they did, it worked.
I guarantee you, if you went back and you polled the defensive players on the football team, they would say, man, I knew Joe was different, but that's one of the moments where he started to grow legs with us. We knew he was one of the real ones.
Well,
right?
we've heard him talk about what he wanted to do when he got here, which is win sprints, shut up, and learn the ropes. And I guess at some point you realize, and it probably happens in the middle of the season, not in preseason camp the second year, but at some point you realize, okay, I'm kind of got the keys now. And that maybe it's to that point, but maybe it's before that when you're starting quarterback at least. But at some point, you make the transformation from new guy who's trying to learn and win the sprints to, okay, I'm going to take over this practice.
It means more when a quarterback does things like this because they typically don't. And I'm not saying you got to do these things to be great. Like I play with quarterbacks that are great that probably wouldn't get involved. Like Peyton probably wouldn't get involved in a jarring session. 17 probably would have in San Diego, but it's a side of him that defenders don't get to see on his own team, and so it does go a long way. Inside the Bayou Ford Huddle, Kevin said, also when it gets personal. There is times when it gets personal, and I've actually seen, fisticuffs in the locker room when it does get personal, and you never want it to get to that because that's not what you're trying to do. But I've also seen it's like, okay, a fight happens. Okay, this guy won, this guy lost. All right, that's it. Y'all can't bring that to tomorrow's practice. I've seen that happen as well. And for whatever reason, in our DNA, 9 times out of 10, it works out that way. And then if you're the guy that can't let it go, again, here comes to the 4 vets being like, listen here, young guy. Yeah. This is the way that's been done in this locker room forever. So, again, not saying it's right, not saying that it's for everybody, but that's the way that it's done.
It makes sense. I just can't get there.
You tell me y'all didn't have any brawls in the Loyola locker room?
One time.
Oh, let's hear it, baby.
No, it wasn't. I mean, our starting point guard was a senior. His little brother was a freshman, and the senior was the freshman was on the scout team guarding us, the starting 5, and we were just torching him, and he was just like kind of picking on his little brother, and his little brother just snapped, and they got into a fight. Like, I just started laughing.
Hey, nobody here thought that you got involved in the fight.
I certainly did not.
There was nobody listening.
Although
from I
was told by my dad the first day of high school sports, he said, if any of your teammates ever get into a fight and you don't get in the fight, you're off the team.
Yeah, thank you.
But no one ever got in a fight. Our students got in a fight with other students during the game, but I just walked off the court for that.
No, I have. Our special teams coach in San Diego, and I've told this story before, it was way back when we were 6 to 8, and Craig Schilling actually found the video. Our special teams coach, if there was something after the whistle or during a play when there was kind of pushing and shoving and you didn't get involved, oh, it was on. Like he was going to belittle you in front of everybody. He was going to do everything within the rules to make sure that you suffered if you didn't get involved in the scrum.
Glad it never happened because I don't want to get in a fight.
Oh, boy.